Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and I am here by myself today because I wanted to do this video and Neon didn't seem too interested because he said he doesn't give a crap about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Or Indiana Jones. So here we are. We're going to talk about the fact that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is now making comments about how, she'd like to see her character get a spinoff. This comes after we've heard Kathleen Kennedy make comments that, it's a possibility, and things like that. So before we get into it any further, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo. Woohoo! So let's talk about this. I put this article up in Pirates and Princesses just a bit ago. So apparently, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was doing an interview, and now she's saying that, she thinks there's room for her character to have their own spin-off series. So they're not going to replace Indiana Jones. They all keep saying that. Mangold said he didn't think that they would do a Helena spin-off, but they would just get somebody else to do it. Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, now Phoebe Waller-Bridge, they're all like, no, we're not replacing Indiana Jones, but we're not going to not milk the Indiana Jones franchise by doing a spin-off with this new character that no one gives two craps about. So, yeah, that's what's going on. We have Helena Shaw's the actress, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, the one who helped ruin James Bond, the one who's moving on to Tomb Raider next. She was talking to Vanity Fair, and she was saying, there's no replacing Indiana Jones in any way, but I feel like the character herself, she did feel fresh on the page, and there's a sense of, is there room in the world for someone like her? So I do think there's room for a slightly clumsier, bruised, limping female action star maybe in the future. Yeah, no. This is after Kathleen Kennedy told Variety, it's entirely possible that Helena film could be happening, said, we're not having those conversations right now. We're just focused on finishing this with Harrison. So there's definitely some fishing going on, I think, between Kathleen Kennedy and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They're talking about, moving forward this character. I don't think audiences are going to have it. As it is, audiences aren't having the 50 Indiana Jones movie. They're thinking it's not going to track well. 60 to 70 million is what they're thinking the opening is going to be, which is not good. It needs to make a lot more money considering what they spent on this, all the reshoots. It's been delayed for years. I mean, first it was, other reasons, then it was COVID, and then it was, the alleged reshoots of the ending, which the spoilers are true. People aren't going to like the ending because it's very it doesn't seem like something that Indiana Jones would do. And of course, the new character comes in and has to stop him because, it's a woman. And I think that's part of the problem here with Hollywood, and they're not understanding this, is that they keep thinking that if they just bring back a movie and make it a traditional iconic male lead, a woman, that somehow, reimagines a franchise. And it doesn't. It just makes people mad. I think they've seen this time and time again with diminishing returns. We had Ghostbusters 2016. Instead of coming back, they could have come back and they could have done it right. They didn't. So we had that one. We had Star Wars where they made Luke a sad sack and replaced him with Rey. Him with Rey. We have, the Indiana Jones thing. There was Terminator. There's been a bunch of different franchises they've tried to do this with, and it's not gone over well. And for Star Wars, they triple down on Rey. They won't, let it go. And I think it comes down to a matter of they don't respect the past. You have all these directors coming in, and these directors are seeing themselves. They're seeing themselves. That's all about their vision and their reimagining. They don't see themselves as caretakers of a property where it can be additive. They see themselves as, that they are the new property and it's subtractive. What I mean by that is you can come into a franchise. I think they did this with the prequels and stuff. It was additive to the original trilogy story. Some of the characters were there. They had new characters added, but it was, in line with that. It was additive. When we came to the sequel trilogy, they could have done it in a way that was additive, but instead they decided to go subtractive because they could have done something where they got all the original cast together and they passed it off onto a new cast. And then, so there was camaraderie there. You knew it was part of the story. You didn't feel like you were losing something just for these new people to be elevated. They didn't do that. Instead, they never put the original cast together, even though they teased it. They killed off Han. They vilified Luke. And people were just pissed. And then no one liked the new characters because they didn't have the challenges they should have had. And then it just felt like it's all about Rey and they were trying to force this female Jedi narrative And it wasn't what people wanted to see. It didn't feel very Star Wars in many regards. And it could have been. It could have been if they had just been additive. For all the people talking about we need to add seats to the table, not take away, they sure as hell like to take away seats to the table. Ghostbusters 2016, same thing. You could have had a cast that was a mixed cast, a male, female, diverse cast. You could have gone and had the old cast, handing over to a new cast somehow, or made the new characters related to the originals, made them their kids or, co-workers or something, made them somehow related. And then went from there. And when they did that with Afterlife, it worked. But instead, they keep trying to reinvent the wheel and claim that they invented it instead of just, playing within the sandbox that they're given and keeping all the characters in the sandbox and bringing their own characters into it. They keep doing this. And even in this interview with Vanity Fair, Phoebe Waller-Bridge even compares her character to Marion. They had Marion in the last movie, in the Crystal Skull, and they had her end up with Indy, which was kind of like nice. We had this extra movie no one wanted. We got the nuke the fridge meme out of it because it was really not that good. And we walked off with Marion and Indy together, and that just brought it full circle back to the Raiders of the Lost Ark film. But instead of bringing Marion back in this one, Helena's character basically is the replacement. And I'm like, why? Why can't you be additive? Why can't Marion be there? And why did Indy have to lose Marion to gain Helena? It doesn't make Helena, how you say it. It doesn't make sense because she read the script and she said yes to the role of Helena, Indy's brilliant, sneaky, hard-charging goddaughter. She sees Helena as following in the footsteps of Karen Allen's Raiders of the Lost Ark character, Marion Ravenwood, saying, the coolest motherfucker anyone had ever seen, and also a joyful and surprising match for Indy. So she's literally comparing her character to Marion, which is not going to go over well with people anyway, because you just could have had Marion in there. You could have had him still being with Marion. She didn't have to be on screen. She could have been like, you could have talked to her on the phone. She's like, yeah, do what you got to do or whatever. But they could have done that. And instead of being additive and adding this character to the movie, they instead decided to remove Marion to make Indy a sad sack that, it's kind of like Up, but with Indiana Jones. Like, he's lost his Marion, he lost his kid, everything that made him happy, even though he's earned it, he's lost. And now, thank God she's there to take him on one final venture. So he's desperate enough to do what the rumors about the ending are, which don't seem in character. And again, it's not additive, it's subtractive. And you're just trying to replace something that people loved with something that they might not like as much. And it doesn't look like it's going to work because I told you, they're tracking 60 to 70 million, not good. And when you go out to Rotten Tomatoes, they're talking about how it's at 65% currently with critics. If you look at top critics, it's only 54%. Because they aren't liking it. And we haven't got the audience score yet because it doesn't come out until, Thursday? So it'll be interesting to see the audience score because they're trying to give away free tickets to this. If you go to Applebee's, they're trying to get tickets into the hands of people that are going to give good reviews. And it's just sad because if anybody says they don't like this movie, we already know what's going to happen. I'm calling it now. If reviews come in that people don't like this film, the media is going to be like, oh my God, Rotten Tomatoes was review bombed by the trolls. And yeah, do some people review bomb it? Yes. But does that everyone? No. And people have told me before that they try to put verified reviews up. They have tickets, they're verified, but it wasn't a glowing review and it wouldn't let them put it as verified review. So it goes into all reviews, and all reviews anybody can leave a review in all reviews, but that includes people who have seen the movie. But I guarantee you now, if the movie doesn't fly with audiences, we're going to see the whole, it's review bombed, misogynistic trolls, because that's what we keep hearing. Every time they do this with a female character they're shoving in as a main character, or they change swap out Indiana Jones for this character, or Luke is the new, Ray is the new Luke, or whatever. It's always the Ghostbusters 2016. Misogynistic trolls. It's not. It's just because people are tired of it, and they're especially tired of it now. And unless this movie does fantastic, I don't see Disney greenlighting Helena Shaw movie, down the road, because people are not interested in that. I think they get further, with a short round movie or something like that, but they're not going to let it go because they need to make money off of Lucasfilm as much as they possibly can because they overspent on everything, and they're like, we got to make our money back. They're desperately making bad choices. But the flip side of that is they ruined Willow and they pulled it off of Disney Plus for the write down. So I don't know if they're even going to go there with this. And that they do, is it going to be a Disney Plus show or something like that because they don't want to put the money into the film? I don't know. I just find it unlikely that they're going to turn around and make a movie about her character. But then again, given what Kathleen Kennedy and how she's very pushy about certain things, and Disney's bad decisions of the past they keep making over and over again, it's very possible. It's very possible to do that. But I think Hollywood needs to learn that if they want to make money on these pre-existing franchises, you need to be additive and not subtractive. You need to respect what came before and not just flush it down the toilet so these directors can have their vanity project and make it all about them. If you are in charge of one of these films, you are a caretaker. You are not the creator. So it's already been created. People already have expectations. They already have characters in mind. You need to work within that framework. And I do think that with James Mangold and some of the comments he's made, he was trying to do that somewhat. He said he doesn't do fan service, but they did Easter eggs, which to me is fan service. So I think he was they were trying to focus on Indy and make it Indy's farewell, even though Indy's already had 2 other farewells before this. And I'm sorry, you're not going to beat The Last Crusade as the best farewell because it was done well and there didn't need to be any more. But Hollywood is so creatively bankrupt and so scared to try to bank on anything new, which we're going to do another video about that here in a bit, or Neon's going to, about something else that's going on and some of the choices that these companies are making and how it leans more into just taking these old IPs and recycling them again instead of trying to get new things. So when are we going to get another Indiana Jones? That's its own thing. When are we going to get another thing as big as Star Wars or Harry Potter or Stranger Things, or any of these big franchises because people took risks? I don't know, because they're afraid to take risks. And I think in their fear of taking risks, they're actually doing themselves more harm than good. But that's just me. So we'll see how this goes. I want better for Indy. I don't want it to fail because I don't want Indy to do poorly. I don't want Harrison Ford to feel bad because he reminds me of my dad. So I don't want that. But I'd also, I'm tired of the lazy rehashes. And I do not want Phoebe Waller-Bridge to go and get a whole movie spinoff on this. I'm sorry. You ruined, partly responsible for ruining James Bond. Now you're going off a Tomb Raider. I'm just like, no. I'm sorry. No offense. But I just don't. No, total offense. I just think that this character, if given what I'm hearing is true, she's annoying as hell, and she has no Marion. And don't try to compare yourself to Marion, because we had Marion, and you could have continued with Marion, but you took Marion out. You subtracted Marion to put this character in, and that's the subtractive, not additive thing I'm talking about. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.